Have you ever had one of those moments that just changed everything? A single experience that flips your entire perspective on its head? For me, that life-altering moment came when I least expected it a few years ago. On what seemed like a perfectly ordinary day, I popped into the supermarket with my mate to grab some snacks before watching the match. Everything felt routine as we strolled the first aisle. Then, in a split second, without any warning, bang! The deafening sound of metal on concrete shook the entire building. A car had veered right off the road at full speed, slamming through the entrance just feet away from where we stood. The glass was exploding everywhere as the wall collapsed. Screams filled the air as debris went flying. It was sheer chaos and pandemonium. Within a matter of seconds, the ordinary had turned into every person's worst nightmare. In that brief, terrifying moment, my life quite literally flashed before my eyes. If we'd been just a few seconds slower approaching those doors, if I had been just a few seconds slower crossing that parking lot, that could have been me, crushed under the collapsed wall and crumpled metal. As I stood there, one chilling thought gripped me. My wife and kids were back home, excitedly waiting for the snacks Dad had promised to bring. Just a normal Sunday for them. Except this time, I wouldn't be walking through that door like any other day. They wouldn't just be dealing with the devastating, life-shattering grief of losing me. On top of that immeasurable pain, they'd be faced with pure chaos and uncertainty over basic things. How would they pay the mortgage? Cover all the regular monthly bills? What about setting aside funds so our kids could still pursue their dreams of higher education? All the financial security I thought I was providing for them would be gone in an instant. As these gut-wrenching realizations set in amidst the sirens and commotion around me, I felt sick to my core. Because up until that point, I'll admit, I was one of those people who always avoided even thinking about life insurance. The whole topic just felt so morbid, uncomfortable, and unnecessary. I naively thought it was something I could worry about much later. But let me tell you, there's nothing more uncomfortable than almost losing your life in that shockingly abrupt way. Staring death right in the face like that shakes you to your core and makes you realize how unbelievably fragile everything is. How lucky you are to be breathing at all. In that single, traumatic moment, it hit me harder than a ton of bricks. I needed life insurance to protect my family's future, no matter how unpleasant it was to dwell on. Because as awful as it is to think about, fate and our mortality can be snatched away at any second, no matter your age or how healthy you feel. Statistics show, in the UK alone, there are over 1,000 accidental deaths each year from things like road crashes, fires, or freak accidents. On top of that sobering fact, research shows nearly 1 in 4 Brits admit they couldn't cover their cost of living for more than a few months if they lost their primary income. That's a devastating and precarious reality for any family to face unexpectedly. My sister-in-law found herself in a similar frightening situation with her health. She had been dealing with high blood pressure and cholesterol issues, which, as you know, can potentially lead to serious complications like heart disease or stroke. Thankfully, she took the responsible path and signed up for Vitality life insurance. Not only did this provide crucial financial protection for her family, but Vitality also gave her an Apple Watch to track her daily activity and offered incentives for making positive lifestyle changes. Now, she's exercising regularly and has made significant strides in getting those health numbers down, all while lowering her insurance premiums simultaneously. Vitality rewarded her for being proactive about her well-being. For me, that near-death experience at the supermarket was the wake-up call I desperately needed. As confronting as it was, it forced me to get over the discomfort and avoidance of life insurance, to truly face my mortality and take action to protect my loved ones, no matter what. Because at the end of the day, as morbid as it may seem to some, getting life insurance coverage is one of the most responsible and caring things you can do for those you'd leave behind. With a policy in place, your family's financial future is secure if any tragedy occurs. All those major costs, like the mortgage, outstanding debts, and university fees, are covered so your loved ones can keep living with stability. There are life insurance policies to fit any budget too. With just a few quid a month with Vitality, you can ensure your children can still pursue their dreams of higher education without burden. Your spouse or partner wouldn't be saddled with a mountain of debt as they grieve your loss. There are plenty of flexible options whether you're single, married, with kids, or without. Life insurance gives your loved ones a crucial financial parachute if the worst occurs. Instead of landing in an inescapable pit of monetary stress on top of the emotional trauma, they have a cushion to fall back on as they grieve, heal, and rebuild their lives. Look, I completely get that it's an unpleasant, uncomfortable thing to properly think about and plan for. Before that car crash, I was happily burying my head in the sand too. I convinced myself getting life insurance was just something to worry about when I was much older and closer to retirement age. But the reality is, we never truly know what's around the corner, do we? 1 minute, you're going about your typical weekend routine, grabbing snacks at the shops. The next minute, you're staring death right in the eyes as the world crumbles violently around you.